Good morning. Yeah, it's me again, the stroke assaulter, having my morning thought. Again, I'm probably spun till noon for thinking. So, let's talk about your emotional state. Depending on the age you're on, or in, sorry, depending on the lifestyle you've enjoyed, and how much of you've enjoyed, and depending on how debilitating your stroke is or was, may have a drastic impact on your emotional state. Excuse me. And as the brain is repairing itself, you might find yourself in a bit of emotional limbo. So I keep referring to the stroke book, or the user's manual for the brain that tried to kill you. This is the lovely one that I received in the hospital with part of my stroke package. It's from Heart and Stroke Canada. And it discusses something here that they call, and I'll read from the book, damage to the brain from a stroke may also affect your ability to control your emotions. This is called emotional incontinence or lability. You may find you cry suddenly or frequently with no reason, or you may respond a different way than you want to. For example, you may laugh at a sad time. Here endeth the lesson. Yeah, I've had that. I have woken up from a dead sleep and started to cry. I have cried for no apparent reason in the middle of doing something or not doing something. I've cried due to frustration because the first couple days after I came home, I was terrified that I was going to have a stutter for the rest of my life, that I was going to have this throbbing, constant companion of a headache for the rest of my life. So there were times where I got very frustrated and I would start to cry. In the hospital, when I was both on the ICU and when I was on the cardiac unit for monitoring, there were a couple times where I had good little crying spats. Oh, totally. That was a combination of fear, frustration. Regardless, your brain just tried to kill you. And some of it's a bit scrambled. A bit shaken, not stirred, maybe. So your brain is trying to find new ways to do things. So there may be times where emotionally you're not having an easy day and it might be hard to self-regulate. That's okay. Don't worry about it. You're getting better day by day, right? What's a good cry now and again? So that being said, just accept it. It's going to happen. You're going to have to deal with it. You know, when you cry, how long you cry, so be it. It's normal. You know, the stroke book says so. Another thing is your mental health. You now are a higher or more likely candidate for things like depression, especially if your stroke was significantly debilitating and you're not able to immediately or possibly resume the lifestyle that you used to have. You know, I'm lucky, and I'm happy to be lucky. Not that I'm a fan of luck or coincidence, but I'm happy that I have very few limitations that I can perceive at this moment than what I had before. I have a few things that are constant, like the headache is still there. Sleep sometimes can still be an issue. I carry an ouch pouch everywhere I go. Let me just show you that. A little ouch pouch. In here I have Band-Aids, Tylenol, because I'm on a blood thinner. I might accidentally cut myself and I don't want to bleed to death in the middle of anywhere. So some of your routines may have to change. You may have difficulty putting on shoes, so you're wearing Velcro or sandals or some type of hush puppy type shoe, right? So you now need to check yourself constantly, simply because you're facing a road that there's no real map for. There's no definitive guideline. There are no definitive benchmarks as to you will be at this place in your life by that time. Oh, and 3 weeks later, you can expect to be here. Oh, and then you can expect a full recovery within, there's no benchmarks. So go on the internet, use it for something other than pornography. Shocking, I know. Look up the name Phineas Gage, North America's first brain injury patient. Right? Not much has changed in the way to estimate certain things when it comes to your brain having an injury or an insult. Right? Sure, I did not get a 6-foot spike driven through my brain. That is completely true. However, doctors to this day do not completely understand everything the brain does or doesn't do and how it responds to certain events. Because the only way they can truly examine your brain is pretty much after you're dead. So, you now need to make sure that you take the time for you. Whatever that looks like is a decision made for you and by you. But you got to find people you can trust to talk with. And I appreciate that they're not going to have a real frame of reference for what's going on, because, fun fact, neither do you. Trust me, I know. I went to school for mental health. I used to work in mental health. At one point in my life, I did have a major mental health issue. This is far and away different from anything close to that. So you're going to have to find people that you can confide in, you can trust, and they're going to have to accept the fact that you're going to be describing things that they have no frame of reference for, right? You might forget a conversation during the middle of it. Done that. You might have a discussion for 4 or 5 minutes about what you intend to order in a restaurant, and then forget what you wanted to order when the server comes around. You might forget how to get to a certain specific place in your hometown or city. You know exactly where it is. You just can't picture how to get there. You've been there before. So your brain can play tricks on you at times. It's normal, right? Just keep in mind that you need to avoid, like I've said before, any forms of sources of frustration or confusion or anxiety. And your brain's going to help provide those from time to time, so you just need to take a break, right? Don't overstimulate yourself. Don't overtax yourself. Just take it day by day. And remember, the only easy day was yesterday. So if you like what you see here, what you've heard here, please like, share, and subscribe with your friends. And if you don't, again, about 7 minutes and 44 seconds ago, you should have stopped watching. If you don't like what you're seeing, I really don't care. This is not for you. And finally, if you see someone you know, or you might recognize it in yourself, the signs or symptoms of a stroke: a pronounced facial droop, the inability to smile properly, slurred or stuttering in speech, inappropriate speech or usage of language for the situation and context you're in, general body weakness or weakness on one side, the inability to stand, please immediately place that person in a position of comfort and then dial 911. Something so simple can save a life.